Do we have enough likes to start? Oh my god, do we have enough likes? Do we have enough viewers? Do we even... What are we doing? 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 It's Monday! Oh my god! Oh my god, you guys! Oh my god! Oh my god, oh my god, it's Monday! Oh my god. Oh my god, guys, I'm freaking out. It's Monday. Are you freaking out? I'm freaking out! I'm freaking out, bros! Bros, I'm freaking out, bros. Come on, bros, let's go! We gotta let's go! Oh my god, I gotta talk in this weird voice for the whole next 5 hours of live streaming. I don't know if I can be able to hold it up. I don't think I'll be able to talk like this. Oh my god. Okay, I can't do that anymore. I might have thrown it out. I might have thrown out my back. Oh my god, I just looked over there and there's two dolls. A large doll is holding a baby doll, and there's oh my god. I don't know what's going on over there. Rapunzel. Sup, bros? What are you doing, bros? Are you freaking out, bros? Oh my god, I'm freaking out. It's Monday. Monday freaks me out, dude. Monday freaks me out, bros. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another lovely edition of whatever this goofy show is. It doesn't have a name. Water Talk. Moist Talk. It's Moist Talk, brought to you by Corvus, a.k.a. Joel. That's me. I'm the guy. I'm all the way out here in the left corner of the United States. When you look at a map, it's on the left-hand side, and then go north. That's where I'm at. I'm over there. I'm over on the north left. I'm over here on the north left, bros. I should probably make... I wonder if somebody's done north left gear. Let's see. North left gear. Does somebody have a north left a hat? What was I going to say? Gat? Oh my god. We may have... what is this? What? What happened? I pushed some kind of weird button. I'm not sure what happened there. Okay. Oh my god, I don't know if anybody's made north left gear. It seems like no one's made it. There's the upper left USA, but no one has made north left. I might have to make that. I might have to make a hat that says north left on it. Although, now that I've put it up on the internet, someone else is going to make it. They're going to steal my idea, boys and girls. The criminals out there. Dos criminales. They're going to steal my ideas via my internet ramblings. Oh, my gosh. But either way, that works for me. It's all good, baby. Rebecca Lowry. Another Washingtonian? You darn right. You darn right. You darn right. I'm one of them. I'm one of them wild Washingtonians. Roaming about in the brush, tackling bears, shooting off guns, riding 4x4s, and also being, what do you call that, a daughter's daddy? A daddy's, I have a little daughter, and she's radical, and we hang out, I guess. I don't know how to describe that. There's got to be a name for that. Daddy's little girl? I've got a daddy's little girl. And the thing that I mentioned at the beginning of the show here was that there is a giant-sized Rapunzel. And, okay, you guys are familiar with, like, kids' dolls, right? It's like a doll. It's about yay tall. Some people would call it 12 inches. Some people would call it 24. You know what I'm talking about. It's a doll. But this one is, like, 2.5 feet tall. It's almost as tall as Olivia. And it is holding on to a baby. Oh my god, I gotta get it. I gotta just show you how creepy this is. It's a Rapunzel. These two creeps are sitting over there in a tiny recliner. I don't know if you guys have seen on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. We have a tiny pink recliner for Olivia to sit in, and these creeps are sitting. I don't know. It's creeping me out. I gotta be honest with you guys. Sometimes I encounter creepy things that creep me out. Yeah, sometimes these things creep me out, and I just gotta let you guys know what they are. But that giant-sized Rapunzel, it has like a dead-eye look to it. You know, it's like, hey guys, I'm out here in the bushes. What are you guys doing on the inside parts? Yeah, it has a very Chucky vibe to it, where it's just staring off dead. It's freaking me out, dude. You know, so it's a kind of weird, but you know how it is. Rebecca Lowry with the follow-up says, hey, Crypt Keeper Aquatics, didn't I see you at Aquatic Coops live on Friday? Are you stalking fish people? Well, I'm one of the old-timey fish people dudes. I've been on the old YouTubes here for way too long. I think my first video was 2008, it's shameful, the lack of growth that my channel has had in that long amount of time. But I am kind of a ridiculous idiot, so I get it. I don't meet everybody's taste. Some people out there, they're like, I like champagne, and some people are like, I like moonshine. Well, I'm somewhere in between there of trying to fit those fancies for people, and you know, it is what it is, baby. So that's all good. Speaking of aquatic coop, are you talking about aquarium co-op? Because that's my boss guy. We travel around, and I build stuff for him, and we do all that stuff. And he mentioned it on Friday, so I just want to give myself a kudos, whatever you want to call it. I have decided to sign on with my boys. Let's try. Oh my God, let's try to name them off. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Koopy, Corby, Randall, Jiminy James, Deanie McDeanerton, and then I'm gonna fall off the list here because there's some people don't even want their names named out there. But those cuatro hombres will be doing more aquarium co-op stuff, and continue building aquarium co-op things. So we're just gonna keep doing that. You know what I mean? So we shall continue on. One of the reasons I bring it up is that I've mentioned to you guys I've decided to go. Rebecca says, oh, you are the new guy. I'm the old guy. I've been around there forever. I just never, as you guys know, I own my own company, and I never really wanted to go. Previously, okay, long story short, many years ago, it wasn't feasible to hire me full-time. Then when it became feasible, it just wasn't going to work for me because of the commute and all that kind of stuff. I've relocated to the north end. We bought a new house. We're up here now instead of in Tacoma. We're up north. And so it's working out better, and I think it's just best for my family to go full-time, and I think it's best for the company to be available full-time to do all the stuff and be around all the time. Yeah, Two Bros Aquatics says old school real fish talk Kobe. Yeah, I was the real fish talk guy with Corey. We did the real fish talk for a long time. Yeah, if you're looking for some old live streamy content, look up the real fish talk. It'll be I don't know. I can't even remember how many episodes we did. We did a bunch of them. You'll be watching fish talk for a really long time if you get down that rabbit hole. Time to start aquascaping with doll heads. Yeah, I mean, I try to keep artificial stuff out of my aquascapes. It's not something I focus on. I don't focus on adding very many feature objects. Although I did talk to Dr. Black the other day about possibly doing a Star Wars theme tank. I don't think there's any place for a Star Trek theme tank. That doesn't make a lot of sense. It also doesn't make a lot of sense for me to do like a Hobbits thing, or I mean, I don't know. The list goes on of like what kind of comic booky nerd tanks you could do. I think Star Wars lends itself very well because there have been a lot of spaceships have crashed And you could do some aquascapes around that. Like, you could definitely do some of the Empire ships, like the destroyers crashed into like a Tatooine-like planet. You could definitely do a Death Star crashed and blown up. The Death Star blew up multiple times. You know what I'm saying? You could do that crashed up in some kind of cichlidscape, you know? You could do all sorts of goofy cichlidscapes like that. And then, of course, all the X-Wings, Millennium Falcon, all that kind of stuff could easily be on a jungle-y crash situation, right? So I think that really lends itself to like something you could do. And I was trying to think of something that would be comparable to that. And I realistically, I have to tell you, I just kept drawing a blank. I kept going like, oh, I like this, I like that. But then it's like a dragon would never be underwater. It would make no sense that a dragon would be like breathing fire underwater. Like, that don't make no sense, you know. And then it's like you think of hobbits or gremlins or wherever weird place you're gonna go. The only other thing I could think about was possibly doing something around aliens. Like, I think you could get away with doing some pretty interesting aliens type scapes, but then you wouldn't be able to have the big chompy bitey mouth bitey alien guy, whatever those are supposed to call, the biter ones, you know what I mean? You could probably put a face hugger in there and get away with it, but I don't know. But then you know, you just got to start thinking about putting Ripley in there, and then, like, you know, some people's pissed because you put Ripley in there and you didn't put in oh gosh, who was the guy? Bill Paxton in Aliens character. What the hell was his character's name? Hudson. Yeah, people would get pissed that you didn't put a Hudson in there if you got Ripley in there. And then, of course, somebody's like, you don't got Vasquez or Apone or anybody. You know, you're like, hey, man, you're missing all the other good characters that I like, right? And then it just starts a big argument, and everybody gets real sad. And boo-hoo, boo, 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 boo. Oh, my gosh, I forgot to pin... the membership thing, because right now I got to do the member. Guys, we're selling memberships. If you buy a membership, you'll have a membership. It's a 1-to-1. You buy a membership, you become a member. You see how that works? That's how that works. We're selling them. If you buy them, you become a member. There you go. It's a 1-to-1 transfer situation because I don't have gifted subs. I don't have the gifted subs. My channel's not big enough yet to get gifted subs. I don't know. Maybe it's active now. But either way, someday we'll get gifted subs. Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? I don't know. Either way, if you become a member, if you buy a member, if you're a baller out there and you become a member, one of our illustrious 73 members, you could join that posse. Then you'll be able to posse up. You'll be able to get onto our Discord. You'll be able to call into the show if you want. And as I forgot to join the green room, I'm actually going to join the green room now, in case anybody needs to call in and let me know either I'm a genius or I'm an idiot or whatever. You can just call in and tell me whatever, as long as you stay relatively within the terms of service. You know how it is. You know, guys. No threats, none of that. Okay, we don't do none of that. We don't do none of that around here. You know, as you guys know, I'm politically very left-leaning, although in a very pragmatic way. My reasonings behind that kind of stuff, you know, we've gone into it many times. I've talked about politics on this channel very often. I feel like an open channel of dialogue and conversation is very important regarding all topics. I mean, obviously there are some topics I'm not going to talk about because they're generally inappropriate for this platform, but you get the idea. Sharing ideas, having conversations, talking about things, asking questions, trying to become generally informed and all that kind of stuff is the best way to go through life. Learning every single day is very important to me, and I hope it's very important to you guys. And that's one of the reasons that we have, like, the Discord, where we're able to do that kind of stuff. We also have a Minecraft server. If you are a gamer person and you want to kind of play with other fish people, you can hop on there, goof around, talk to each other in kind of just a communal, fun way where we get to run around. You don't have to be a member to join the server anymore, but it is It does exist because of the members and the patrons. You could become a patron also if you want. I don't know where the link to that is, but if you look up Joel_C on there, you'll find me. So, yeah, I'm done selling stuff for today because we have a new member. Rebecca Lowry became a new member today. Shout out to a baller, Rebecca. Coming big time. There we go. Boom. Alyssa says, I will miss talking to you. What does that mean? Rebecca, Alyssa, what's going on? Why will you miss talking to me? What's happening? What? I'm going to put what in the chat. What? I'll still be around. I'm still going to be doing the Monday shows, even though I am full-time at the Aquarium Co-op. I'll be there all the time. I still work from home on Monday for my own stuff / emails and blah, blah, blah. And running around and doing errands and doing all that stuff. I just working for long days, which is fine. So that's the way I like my schedule, and I'll still continue to be here doing the shows on Mondays, although sometimes it might switch up. I might be able to do it on Fridays. And then, of course, as I've mentioned previously, if we hit 5,000 members, I'll go ahead and just do this full time, okay? So that's the deal. 5,000 members. 5,000 members. 5,000. And I'll do more live streams and make more video content. I am currently filming more video content for short videos. I think I've really kind of figured out my format for my newer videos. Ish. It's still, honestly, getting there. It's getting there. It's really hard to edit in here with the dolls and things going on. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Plus, my daughter has full access to this room. So it is extraordinarily difficult to have the tiny tiger known as Olivia attacking me whilst I try to edit things. So then it has to wait till like 10 o'clock at night. And then, then I'm just like... And so I'm not getting a lot editing done. But, yeah. What was the question here? H.R. Geiger Aquarium? It'd suit the strangest fish. Everything would have to be DIY if it's not alien-themed. I would think you would just have to have, like, really misfit fish. Like, I think if you did an alien-themed tank, it would have to just be, like, really misfit type fish. And then, yeah, I'm sure that you probably would have to DIY quite a bit of stuff because there probably isn't like a whole bunch available. And ladies and gentlemen, Zipgun has come into the green room, but he's silent. Oh, there he is. Hey, what's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot.
Oh my God, you're so...
Getting my mother moved up and in with me, getting her taken care of.
Uh-huh.
But I think you hit the nail on the head a minute ago for a artificial tank, creepy doll tank.
Yeah, I think it's definitely something you could do, but I think realistically it would just like haunt people's dreams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it might just hurt their feelings. Like they would just be crying. I think if I went full creepazoid doing a tank, I think it would like hurt. I think it would hurt people emotionally. I think, realistically,
really? It would be a great video.
That's true. It would definitely be a call out to the rest of the old the fish fam, as it were. Well, it's a pretty good one. I want to do the last scene of the original Planet of the Apes. That would work pretty well. That would work pretty well, and I feel like I've seen that somewhere, and it might have just been a rendering, like somebody might have just made a thing.
Yeah, you could do something that's semi-aquatic in there, some little fiddler crabs or something.
Mm-hmm. I think I want to do the final scene of Gone with the Wind. That's what I think I want to do. The burning house, the burning mansion.
That would be cool too. That would be very cool.
Shout out to my brothers of the North, you know? Shout out to those guys for burning that plantation down. You know what I mean? It's like shout out to my homies. As Zipgun is from the South, he is Florida man, so be aware. Watch out. He's like the good Florida man, though. He's out there like netting things and doing stuff and taking care of his mom. So it's good vibes. It's good vibes Florida man, because there's two different Florida man. There's Florida man that makes the front of the newspaper, the front page of the newspaper. And then there's Florida man who's like back in the classifieds, you know, like, hey, do you need some help? I'll come help you kind of situation.
Yeah, I don't carry alligators around and throw them at people.
Yeah. Oh my God, I saw a perfect Florida man video the other day, and I straight up was so sad. But it was a happy ending, but it was a sad ending at the same time. This guy was like walking a tiny little doggy, like a puppy, like maybe a beagle puppy or something like that, and it had apparently had been grabbed by an alligator and dragged into the pond. So the video started with Florida man, like old Florida man, like gray hair, big beer belly, and he's got a cigar in his mouth, and he like grabs down into the pond, pulls out an alligator with the puppy in its mouth, and like grabs and pulls open the alligator's mouth and gets the puppy out and then like throws the gator back in the water. All with the cigar in his mouth the whole time.
Yeah, I'm not messing with that dude.
I would not mess with that. He had old man strength. He was all leathery, you know what I mean? He was like super brown and leathery, you know? And the white hair was, accentuating it. You know those dudes?
Right.
Yeah. Where they're just like way too tan, bro. Like you gotta sunblock that a little bit. You're gonna get some melanoma going on and dying at a young age. But then again, who knows how old they actually are, right?
Yeah, like some of the roofers and like, oh my God, he must be in his 60s. No, man, he's only 40.
Right. Or it's the other way, where it's like, he's 93? Like, what?
Right.
Yeah. But what else is going on down in Florida? What else you got going on down there?
I am probably going to have another surgery, which sucks, because that kind of is going to put me back on what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be able to get out as much. I was really hoping to start getting out and catching things. I've got some ideas that I want to do.
Are you going to do some catch and cook, or are you just going to do some catch and ornamental aquarium tank?
Ornamental aquarium tank.
All right. I feel like a catch and cook down in Florida would just be so easy, though.
I think it'd be interesting to do. I have not have the culinary skills, but like catch and cook of the invasive might be interesting.
Yeah, like iguanas.
Yep.
Iguanas, anacondas, pythons.
Yeah, Burmese. Yeah.
You got anacondas down there too, though, right?
Possibly. I haven't heard of it. The big one is the Burmese, and I guess the Burmese, there's a hybrid.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, can't remember the name of the other python that they hybridized with, but it has increased their habitat range because the other python liked a different habitat, so the hybrids like both, and so they're even worse.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we got to be honest here. Every time I read a story about the ecosystem in Florida, is like, oh, it's broken. Like it's just we don't know where this is going, but it can't be going anywhere good. We got a good point here. We got a good point here from Rebecca. It says voting out DeSantis would help, and yeah, I agree. As we've seen over the last week, a lot of things are being basically forced on the American population from a very small group of people. And as we know, the democracy that we live under is formulated as a republic. It is a representative republic, which we democratically elect our representatives to enact the legislations that we want, prefer, request of them, and do all those things. And as I've been saying over the last year, I don't know if Zip will back me up on this. we have a gigantic group of people in this United States, equating to about 100 million to 120 million, somewhere in that range, of people that just don't vote, period. They just don't do it. They just don't bother to do it at all. And
Like
my
2/3.
my my issue, especially with this current overturning of Roe versus Wade, has very little to do with an actual criticism of the Supreme Court. Because, as we know, for a very long time now, the Supreme Court has been very contentious in its existence and how it functions and who functions within it. I don't need to get into specifics because it doesn't really matter for this conversation. But it's a very small group of people. It's very easy to influence them because even if you influence them in a real way by just argumentation, right? You just go, here are the facts. Here's what I think, and blah, 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 and you change one of their opinions. It's only one of 9 people. So it's very easy to influence that group of people, whether you do it with money or not or whatever, doesn't matter. You can influence that court very easily. And if we want laws to be enacted in the way that we want them to be enacted, then we need to put them into place and codify them into law. And if we need to go as far as amending the Constitution and doing that, we need to do it. We'll never do it if we don't get people to go vote. It is simple. It is so stupid. We've heard it all a million times, a billion times, a gazillion times. You've seen every advertisement for it. You've heard every stupid radio thing. I've said, to the point where I've said it. You got to get registered. You got to go vote. Otherwise, the representatives within our republic will not represent you. They don't care, and they shouldn't care. If you're not a registered voter, why would they bother to take your opinion? Ever. Right? And so that is what I am trying to encourage people to realize at this point in the game. You need to register. You need to vote. And that is just what needs to happen. And that's what we all need to be pushing for. As you might be a super right-wing guy, you might be a super left-wing guy, you might be a super centrist guy or gal or boy or girl or non-gendered or binary or whatever, non-binary or whatever you are. If you want representation, our system works this way. Get registered, become a voter, and they will take your opinion seriously. Simple as that. I mentioned my local guy, who this was the first time he had been elected to the district where I lived down in Tacoma. I called that office before he got elected, and he answered the phone. Right? And he was like, what do you want me to focus on? I was like, I just want to hear what you want to do. That's all I'm calling for. But he realistically was like, what are some of the issues that you, as just a random guy living here, what do you think about? You know, and he was obviously much more flowery in his conversation and being a professional guy, kind of dude, kind of office guy, right? You know, kind of thing, white collar guy. But they would call me back every 3 weeks, like, hey, is there something that you want to be brought to the attention? And the first thing that I said is like, why are you calling me? What is the deal? And they went, you're one of a very short list of people that actually were interested in contacting us. And so they're like, we're just going to continue contacting you if that's okay. We don't want to bother you, but is it okay if we call like once a month or something like that? And it's like, yeah, actually that's totally fine. But, and obviously that's an anecdotal example, but it to me, it's a perfect example of like, no one is even bothering the local reps, right? And if people aren't bothering those guys, or gals or whoever, they're like, well, I don't know. I guess we'll just try to get a thing going. Yeah.
A lot of people say votes don't matter. It's like bullshit. Florida is the prime example of why votes matter. We've had razor thin governors races for like the past 5 or 6.
Right,
If we
exactly.
could
Yeah.
get just a tiny few more people out to vote, and there was a lot of things going on to try to prevent people from voting, it would have been totally different.
Yeah. And the thing is that like I posted it in the Discord. Let me see. I posted this in the Discord the other day as just sort of a perfect a prime example of yeah, here we go. So like a perfect example would be like Bradenton, Florida. I have no idea where that is. I don't know. But it tops the list of eligible voter turnout for the most recent mayoral election. And only 47% of people showed up to vote for the mayor, right? The lowest one on the list was Fort Worth, Texas, where only 6% of people showed up to vote. Las Vegas, 9%. State College, Pennsylvania, 9%. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, 12%. Like that's the issue that we're dealing with right now, is that the current representatives are representing. Look at that. Somebody who's a city mayor of a big city. Everyone knows Las Vegas, right? I don't think there's a single American that doesn't know the city of Las Vegas, but only 9% of the voters showed up to vote for the mayor, right? 9%. That's less than 1 out of 10. I don't know if you guys are math wizards like I am, can figure that out, right? But yeah, that's the issue. Rebecca says, and educate yourself before voting. Do not vote by party. Vote by the actual candidate. I will say that I agree with the sentiment of that statement, but I am not somebody who's going to enforce that statement because of this. Just go register and vote. A non-educated vote that's voting on party lines is better than a non-vote. I'm going to be honest with you. At least you're participating, right? You want a participation trophy? Like, there you go, so. Wesley's Fish Club says, guess I missed the memo of you going full-time for the co-op now. Congrats. Where was this announced? Corey announced it on his aquarium co-op live stream that he does. I believe he did it on Friday. Here's the deal. I probably wouldn't have announced it until he announced it, and I know that he did because I happened to tune in to see what the boss was talking about, and my ears were burning. I was like, oh, it's me. That's me, guy. Oh, okay. Word. But you guys, everybody that follows Aquarium Co-op at least has an idea that I exist, so that's generally like, most people would be like, oh, it's that guy. Yeah. He's got sawdust under his fingers, and he's covered in grease and stuff, being a dirty boy playing in the dirt. Local politics drive the national. Yep, that's exactly how that goes. It's like all of the local pools of small representatives, like they send stuff up to the state representatives. The state representatives send stuff up to the Senate and to the executive branch. Like, it all is just funneling up, And so if something comes up on a local docket, it's likely going to come up on the state. And if things are coming up on the state docket, it will eventually land on somebody's desk within the either somebody in the Senate or somebody in the executive branch of going like, hey, this is a thing that's going on somewhere. Okay, let's look into it and see what's happening. Freshwater ichthyology says floating voter, I think, is ideal. Not entirely by the candidate, but a long-term goal. The UK Brexit was only considered because UKIP got enough votes to be noticed. The British parliamentary system is totally bonkers as far as I'm concerned. Brexit just seemed like a totally bad idea. I don't even know how you guys bothered to even do that. I don't know why you would leave the EU. The only people I've ever heard talk about it favorably are people that I like wildly disagree with and regularly have debunked stuff that they've thrown out there. So I don't think it's really like deep thinkers that came up with Brexit, and I think a lot of people got scammed into voting for it, honestly. Because most of the voters that I've seen that were interviewed after the fact realized that they voted for Brexit and then was explained to them what it was later. And they were like, wait, I didn't want to vote for that. Like, well, now you got to do the thing.
Yeah. There was
But
definitely some shenanigans, not U.S. level shenanigans, but there was definitely some shenanigans up with that, and I think the people backing it are set. They are set to make money out of it at the cost to everyone else.
right, yeah, and I mean the thing is like, I'm not prepared to talk specifics about Brexit and whatnot. If somebody wants me to come onto their show or whatever, like feel free to email me, joel@darkstararts.com or whatever my email is that's attached to the YouTube channel. Feel free to email me, reach out, and I will gladly put together some stuff and have a talk about that kind of stuff. But yeah, Linda Worth says register to vote now so you have a vote in the upcoming midterms. It's so important. Yep, that's the thing. Roe v. Wade was overturned now. There's a midterm in how many months is that? I don't know how to math that. 4 months?
I think so.
Yeah. I think it's like 4 months from now. Oh. Are you guys only hearing Zip through my speakers? Mic check. Send me a mic check, Zip.
Hello.
I don't know. You're playing out my audio over here. You are kind of quiet though. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, well, we'll figure it out at some point in time. Maybe not during the show. Yeah, so, the thing is that in the next 3 months, you're going to hear a lot about midterm elections. And if you're not registered to vote, get registered to vote. This should motivate you to get registered to vote. The thing is, like, I live in Washington State. Roe versus Wade was overturned. On a federal level, it triggered a lot of crazy laws in a lot of crazy states that I don't think people are very represented in. I don't think realistically. As I slowly went through states and realized, like, how many people are actually registered to vote in what state, voter registration is super low in a lot of the states that had these trigger laws in place. And it's like I was talking about earlier, where you have 9% of people showing up to vote, showing up to vote, and you're like 9%, that can't be good, right? And a lot of the states that had those trigger laws and things like that, whether you agree with them or disagree with them, that's fine. Feel free to do whatever you want. I'm a fiscal conservative. When it comes to wasting money on stupid prosecution, the conservatives tell me that they're fiscally conservative, but I guess now they're going to go around like prosecuting all sorts of people and putting all sorts of people in jail. It seems like a gigantic waste of money to me, and it seems like a huge government overreach to have like a government representative in the doctor's office with you every time you go to the doctor. I don't know. It seems weird to me. Plus, yeah, I don't know. It seems weird to have the government involved inside your bedroom. I don't know. I've always heard conservatives say they don't want that, but it turns out I guess they do. I don't know. It's a little bit confusing to me, but I'm fiscally conservative when it comes to wasting money, and I feel like prosecuting all of this is going to be a gigantic waste of money, and I don't want my taxes going towards it. It seems like a big waste, but I guess some people like wasting money. I don't know. Seems like they're the other way around. When reality hits, it's the other way. So, but I live in Washington State. It's I believe women's rights are codified within our state constitution. I believe, if not, it's on there are actual laws legalizing it, and so realistically, we're not all that affected out here. Things have not really changed for us, specifically us Washingtonians. So it's really just not, the thing is, like, it's just not really going to change all that much in Washington. And I feel bad For all the people in the States where their lives are kind of flipped upside down on their heads right now. I'm 42 years old. I've been around and I've been kind of, I was very politically active when I was a young guy, and I got burnt out on it because, it was pretty difficult to watch us go from, the Reagan administration to the Bush administration to the Clinton administration back to the Bush administration again. Dealing with a lot of trickle down economics and just watching everything get slowly stripped away, and the pendulum never ever really swung back left. It was always just like, hey, we're gonna take away, we're gonna take away, we're gonna take away, and a few things did swing left in the fact that same-sex marriage got approved, but that's kind of it. It's like sort of the only thing over the last 40 years that really has been left on the pendulum, realistically. Like I said, I just want people to register and go vote. And if you could honestly tell me that 90% of the population realistically wants these hyper restrictive, wild government overreach laws and stuff like that, I would say, okay, I'll do my best to adhere to the laws of the land. Even though I will continue to advocate for those to be changed. If it really was 90%, I'd be like, all right, we got to do what we got to do, and we got to just keep moving forward. But I don't believe that to be true. I don't believe that is accurate. I'm sorry. That actually is. That actually. I'll read it out loud. It's fine. As an escort, trust me, conservatives spend lots of time in other people's bedrooms. At least the guys do. And that's just a legit funny comment. Linda Worth. You're out in the Orville area and Republic. Yeah. You guys are neighbors out there in the small parts of Washington. But you do, the funny thing is, it was like Oroville and Republic and stuff were on my list of Washington County's analysis, where you guys are like technically overrepresented within, and I put air quotes on it, overrepresented within our state government. Hopefully we can kind of balance things out a little bit better in Washington State. But currently, I think we're on the right track of just realistically having a moderate stance on most things. Obviously, the downtown city parts are going to be super vilified by one group, and then of course out in the woods and everything are going to be vilified by another group. But I think Washington State is at least moving forward pretty well. That's one of the reasons I kind of stayed here. I don't know if anybody does that kind of critical analysis on where they want to live. But yeah, I did. I mean, the whole it's throwing out of state ladies great camping here. Yeah, I mean the thing about the I think one of the big issues that I have with this whole like out of state camping idea is that I appreciate people wanting to reach out and like try and help people in other states and whatnot. But I would definitely go about it with a very strong, like a huge amount of caution. There are organized groups that you can check validity of stuff like that. The average person, I would say, is put some money into one of the to an established group that you know is respectable and can actually follow through on helping people properly. It's going to be far too much for the average person, and it's more or less a safety issue, I would think, more than anything, realistically. So As Linda says, not all us hillbillies are right wing nuttos. Most hillbillies aren't. As a hillbilly myself, I'm a super leftist guy. I'm all about wanting community aid, local gardening, local sourcing of everything that I can possibly get. That is, those are all leftist ideals. Like having gun rights, sure, but gun training, yes, very important. Most leftist ideals are actually what hillbillies want and do on a regular basis. But it's been shrouded in a sort of like this fake bravado of I've got American flags all over my truck and all this weird sort of, I guess it's like sort of like identity politics of like, well, yeah, man, I'm from the woods, so I gotta be voting this way or whatever. And it's like, I wish you would take some time to analyze what it is that you are advocating for. I think that, and generally that minority of people is so loud that it's hard to hear anybody else who just is worn down and tired and does not want to engage in the conversation. And that is the majority of people that's the majority of people that I have conversations with on a regular basis. Like, that's like 80% of people I talk to is like, look, man, I don't have time to think about any of this stuff. I don't have time to engage with it. I don't have time to get passionate and have an argument with somebody and try to convince them to see my way. That's how most people are interacting with the world these days. They're beat down. They're tired. They don't want to have to get into a big rah-rah, hoorah argument with somebody, which is why I would say the simplest way to advocate for your position is to anonymously vote for what it is that you want. You will never have to tell anybody who you voted for. You can, your ballot is a secret ballot, so that's why it's like, trying to remind and sort of motivate those people to go like, hey man, just go vote and do your thing. I've been trying to advocate for voting holidays, national voting holidays and stuff like that. The 4th of July is about to come up. Why don't we vote on the 4th of July? It's always confused me. It's confused me since I was a little kid. I think I was probably like 9 or 10 when I started thinking like, why don't we vote on the holiday? And of course, when I was a little kid, I wanted to light off fireworks and blow things up and stuff like that. And also as a young man, probably for too long into my 20s, maybe late 20s even, right? And I understand lighting off fireworks is totally fun. I get it. I get where you're coming from. It drives me nuts because it scares my dog. And it pisses me off because it scares my dog, and it scares my dog for weeks on end in the United States because we can't even keep it to one day. There's been a never-ending. There's just been every night there has been fireworks for the last week, and we're not even. Well, it's a week away. Actually, I can do math. Check me out, math man. Woo, woo, math guy. It's a week from today, so we have like a week left plus the week following, while people light off all their extra stuff. Rebecca runs a huge Facebook group of off-grid homesteaders, most of whom would be horrified at my leftist Wiccan ways. LOL. Actually, I'll be honest with you. It has more to do with like framing the topic as to what you're talking about. That generally speaking is the issue, right? There's a lot of performative inclusivity in the U.S., right? You become a part of a group. You're in this group. You might not even agree with most of what the group is doing, but you're just in the group, so you can't get out. You can't get out of that group, and you can't deviate from the group. Stay in the group. Be the group. Rah the group, right? And we got to think about a lot of things that. A lot of things that are being projected on certain ends of the spectrum. And the reality is, as I've mentioned before, most hillbilly stuff is actually left-wing stuff. It really is. Alyssa says, in my town, there's like city-sanctioned fireworks every weekend from June to August, pretty much. Yeah, I don't mind the city-sanctioned fireworks because it's normally isolated to a certain period of time. Like the sun goes down, and it's at most it's going to last 20 minutes because it costs a lot of money, right? It costs a lot of money to just light off a bunch of fireworks. So once the money runs out, the fireworks display is going to be over, right? Because they're like, hey, we don't want to spend all this cash on extra fireworks. Y'all people were excited. You got excited. You got your thing, and now we're done. We ain't gonna spend no more money on these more fireworks. So the sanctioned fireworks, I'm not that stressed out about them. Like it kind of sucks, scares the dog for a bit, but they kind of stop after that, and can get the dog to calm down. Like it's not World War III. It's not any of that stuff. And I do recall, like, as you guys know, I have like a wide variety of friends. I got a bunch of super out there on the right friends also, which are kind of weirdos, and they'd brought up a theory that somehow the U.S. is gonna go into some kind of civil war, which I 5 minutes, 2 minutes of questioning of like, what are you talking about? How is that gonna work? Like how is this gonna work? And then they're eventually like they just break down and go like, okay, yeah, maybe that's not gonna happen. Okay, but the reality is, if there is some form of civil war, it comes at the voting booth. That's where it's going to happen. That's where it's going to happen. And I want progressives to show up. That's what I want. I want progressives to show up and vote, because a lot of moderates and progressives I know, they're just so disenchanted that they feel like voting isn't that important. So I'm looking forward to this midterms and seeing hopefully a big turnout. But I'm doing whatever I can. I know it's on. I know it's on people's minds. It's on everybody's mind right now. Is overturning all of all this stuff from the Supreme Court. But the one way to battle it is to vote and get your representatives to pass laws. If you can pass legislation, it's basically bulletproof until somebody passes more legislation. Zip, what do you got going on down in Florida? Are people going wild in the streets down there, or what?
I know a lot of my friends are very upset.
Oh yeah, you are showing up pretty quiet. Hold on, you got a lot of quiet, or you got a lot of friends that are pretty upset, right?
Yes.
Okay. I turned you up. Now you're super loud.
Oh, sorry.
I was controlling you on my end with my buttons and levers. Have you? Okay, go ahead.
The sad thing is, part of the problem here in Florida is that the state level Democratic Party for a couple of decades now has been just the Keystone Cops. There's a lot of issues that they've had. Now it looks like they're finally getting their act together, but about the time that we had the last Democratic governor, a lot of those older politicians left politics or they died off of that sort of stuff, and the guys that took over for them were just comically incompetent. There was so much infighting and stupid stuff that they were doing that they basically gave, the Republicans had no opposition almost. And nothing from the national level, the national level could pull out presidential elections on occasion and that sort of thing. So they just didn't, in my opinion, didn't care.
Right. Well, that's one of the big things for me is that I was around for the generation of when Ralph Nader ran for president. I voted for Ralph Nader. I disagreed with Ralph Nader on a lot of stuff. And to me, that was fine, because if Ralph Nader had received 5% of the national vote, the Green Party, I believe he was the Green Party, he might have been a different name, but essentially the Green Party would have received a third of the national funding that goes to our political parties. And I would behoove anybody to go look up the number of how much federal tax dollars go to the Republican and Democrat Party to help fund them. It is a gigantic fund. It's 1 or 1.5 billion split every year between the two parties. The Green Party would have taken a third of that funding, and both parties lobbied to make sure that that didn't happen. And when it didn't happen, they increased how much that vote needed to be in order for a third party to get validity. So it just goes to show you that, like, that legislation can get passed for sure. Voting reform, all that stuff can get passed. And I know a lot of people in my area became so frustrated after that happened that they got convinced that there really wasn't anything going to come of it. There really wasn't going to come anything to come of their voting. And to be honest with you, the national election is not that important to the average person. But you should be voting for your city, your district, your mayor, your governor, the state representatives. You should be voting for those people. Like, you know, maybe you can't figure out who do you want to vote for president? Fine, leave that blank. Who cares? But at the very least, you got to be voting for your local reps. You need your local reps to be out there because they can actually go and amplify your concerns. And I think that's where a lot of people's heads are confused. I think that's where a lot of the average person that's like, dude, I don't want to get involved. All I want to do is fish tank stuff. All I want to do is talk about fish tank stuff. You know, what filter am I supposed to be using? Like, what filter pad am I supposed to be using? Is this substrate good? Is this substrate bad? Does my fish have ick? If it does have ick, what do I do? Right? And I love that about you guys. I love the fish fam. I love fish. I love fish tanks. I love plants. You guys know I've lost my mind about fish tank plants for over a decade now, and I will continue to always be doing that. I will always be continuing to do that, but I also want people to realize that a small amount of your time could go towards affecting your day-to-day life in a very beneficial way. And if you just continue doing the same thing forever and like not voting, it's not for sure. Nothing is ever going to change. You know, I know how many people complain to me about traffic jams and potholes and all this kind of stuff. And you go like, that's your local rep, man. That's your local representative, whoever's representing your district. And they go to the state house and they say, I've got 6,800 potholes or whatever the number is. I need money. I need state help. I need state help to fix all these potholes. And if that person is representing 10 people voting out of 10,000, guess what? The state legislator is going to go like, yeah, I guess we'll write it down, but you only got like 10 people voting over there, so it's probably not all that important to the state. It's really what it kind of boils down to, honestly. And more often than not, it boils down to a percentage type thing. If somebody had 90% of the vote and everybody was voting in their district, I guarantee you every state, whatever state was happening in, all of the representatives there would be listening to that person. And it would not matter where they come from on the political spectrum, because every politician would want to hear what somebody who is getting 90% of their district vote. They would for sure want to hear what that person is doing, what that person is up to. And it's, you know, like, a perfect example of that would be like John Fetterman, who's like the lieutenant governor in Pennsylvania. He's running for, I think, the Senate seat or whatever. He is essentially just a smart, regular dude who's gotten involved and he's doing his thing. And people are listening to him because he's really got a campaign and things going on of just going like, look, dude, we got to fix this crap. So, I mean, it's a good example if you wanted to see somebody who gets listened to, who doesn't have like tons of money behind him and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that dude rocks.
Yeah. And he's like 2 feet taller than I am, but people have sent me pictures of going like, dude, are you related to this guy? And I'm like, it's a white guy with a beard and big eyebrows. I mean, come on, chill out here. He's not. That doesn't immediately make us related. Although I did take my eyebrows down today a little bit. I took them down a little bit. I told you guys about my barber trials and tribulations. Trying to find a barber shop in the North End has been insanity. My God. I literally went to a local barber shop where the guy said he's been a barber for over 40 years, and he was like, I can't do your haircut, is what he told me. Can you believe that? Zip.
He can't do your haircut?
Yeah. Yeah, I swear to God, I thought I was in the Twilight Zone or something.
What can only do like flat tops and
I don't know. I was flabbergasted. I literally was like, "Are you what?" Because I do like a high fade, right? You know, and I'm like, "That's pretty typical haircut, right?" Like, if you have anybody going to the military, you got to do this and then cut the top shorter. That's what you got. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I feel like this is day one barber school type crap. But the guy he was like, I can't do your haircut. You know, he's like, I just never been doing that haircut. So, you know, I don't want to screw it up. So I basically just left. You can't, it's unbelievable, man. Like, I was like, okay, I guess I'll see you later. Or, I'll see you later around town or whatever. But, then I went to this other barber, which wasn't a barber. It actually was legit like it was like an old man barbershop run by a gal that I think wanted to have a beauty salon, but I think just old men were coming there, and so they put a barber pole out there and was like, I guess I'm a barbershop. So she was very nice, and it was okay, but it was way out of the way and not convenient and whatnot. So then I went to then the third barber I went to, they did okay, but I got a real creep vibe from going there. I'll just leave it at that. I just got kind of creeped out from going there. But here's what's weird. So I found a local barber that's like probably 4 miles away, 5 miles, something like that. I don't know. It's close. It's realistically a short drive because you get on like a thoroughfare road and just drive down there, right? After you get out of the woods where I'm at, right? And so I go down there, and here's what's insane. This is completely insane, guys. Vicky and I moved here like 6 weeks ago, I think. Vicky, well, and Olivia. Don't forget about Olivia. And Biddy Brown is here too. She's having a hard day today. She's taking lots of naps. We moved here like 6 weeks ago, and this barbershop literally opened like 6 weeks ago. So I want to say young couple because I'm getting old now. I'm getting old, bro. What am I gonna do? Look how gray my beard is now. I'm getting super old, bro. People call me sir when I go places, and what are you gonna do? But anyhow. I think they're probably like 35 or something like that. I don't know. So I say young couple, but they bought this place, remodeled it, barbershop, opened up, boom, boom, boom. And today was I went there today. I say, you know what? I'm going to try this place. I saw it when I was going to, we were going to get a pizza like 3 or 4 weeks ago. I saw this place and I said, you know what? I'm going to go try this place. I stopped by there right at opening time. They go, hi, I'm like, hey, you guys, do you guys walk-ins or whatever? Oh, yeah, just come on in. Like, okay, so I go in, I find out they just opened this place like 6 weeks ago. I'm like, it's kismet. I just moved up here 6 weeks ago. And they're like, oh, my God, we're best friends forever now. So I got new best friends, and I got that going for me today. So I would say ultimately today was a pretty good day, although it is 95 degrees out today. It's the heater out there, buds. How hot is it in Florida today?
It's about that, probably a little less, but the humidity is brutal.
Overbearing. Yeah, I think our humidity is only like 65 or something like that, 60%. But the pollen is out of its mind right now, dude. It is unbelievable. The pollen is just flowing out of the trees. So we have that. So it's it's not the same discomfort, but it's the added discomfort. But I will say this, the new house has glorious AC.
Oh, nice. That's yeah. My AC just got fixed today. It broke Friday at some because we had a big heat wave and it was very bad.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah,
Unacceptable.
The high today is 90 with 60% humidity.
Oh. Yeah, I think ours is sitting right about 60 right now, I think. I could go check the reader, but it's not in this room. But the new house, glorious AC on the central air. So I can literally just set the house to 69 degrees and just let her rip, And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing because I can go outside, I can start digging holes, I get all super hot, and then I just come inside and lay down on the ground for a little while. It's pretty good. Mickham says, I want to have leaders who know about things, not believe things. Anyone can believe in things, but I don't want them to decide everyone's future. That's exactly the thing, which is kind of why I was telling the story earlier, the anecdotal story, my personal story of the newest district representative that I had down when I lived down south. The guy sort of had a framework and he had I think he had like a 6-plank plan of what he was trying to address while he was there, and which is great because you can go like, okay, I kind of agree with 5 of 6, right? And you're like, oh, cool, okay. But the big thing is that like, at least in the States, I know Mickham's in like Australia, I think, right? Or Sweden. I don't know where you're at, bro. I forget now. I was confident in the Australia thing, and then I immediately was like, that might not be true. But anyhow, like the big thing is that like that guy might believe in stuff or not, but he wasn't really going to address anything specific unless he specifically heard from somebody who was voting in his district, right? Like it wasn't going to be a thing that that he was going to really, really focus on unless people like vocalized it to them. So that's kind of the point that I've always tried to make is that like if you aren't think of it this way. Let's say you run a restaurant. Let's say you run we'll take names out of the chat here. Let's say you run the Zip Gun Bistro, right? You run the Zip Gun Bistro, and somebody comes in and tells you that Rebecca's serves terrible food and their service sucks, and somebody should fix it, right? The Zip Gun Bistro people would be like, guys, that's a real bummer. I'm really sorry to hear that. I will be doing absolutely nothing about that ever because those aren't my customers. I'm going to continue to focus on my customers here at this restaurant and do the best job that I can to provide them with good service and good food and good atmosphere and all of the lovely things that we want our customers to have, right? Who cares if another restaurant is a dumpster fire and their customers are being treated poorly, realistically? Is that you're like, well, eventually somebody will figure out that the Zip Gun Bistro is the best and they'll start coming here. Because that's just human behavior. Like, why would you care about somebody else's customers? It just doesn't make any sense, right? Well, Rebecca, truth be told, there are more than one Rebecca in the chat. Can you figure out who's the other Rebecca? Because I know who it is. I went with Rebecca because I know there's 2 Rebeccas in the chat. Zipgun says the entire second Civil War thing is a right-wing fantasy they've had for a long time. A lot of conservative sci-fi writers really fell in love with the idea. It's stupid. Modern Civil Wars are. Yes, that's very true. It's very true. it's just it's a stupid nonsensical fantasy thing. I think realistically it has to do with voting. That's really the thing that we should all be focusing on. Same with conservatives too. I want conservatives to also vote. Okay, so this is not I'm not like a partisan guy of going like, well, only the lefties should vote. I want everybody to vote. I really do, 100%. I don't know how to prove it to anybody other than say it, but yeah, that's my thing. Is I want everybody to be able to vote and get involved at that base level. That's base to me. That's like the baseline. That's the bottom. That's the bottom of effort right there. Although I know in some places it's extraordinarily difficult to vote, which is important to be if you're somebody in a position that can help somebody else get to be able to vote. Like that's where motivated interaction should be coming from. Is like, I get it. I understand that people want to help with the camping. I guess we'll just continue to call it camping. I guess that seems to be the nomenclature that people are utilizing right now. And my recommendation there is donate to a proper organization that can help. That's vetted, a vetted organization that can help in a proper legal way. Okay, so nobody's accidentally taken advantage of. That's important. But if you want to contribute on the ground as somebody who's like activated and you want to help, right? Go get one other person who doesn't vote and help them accomplish voting, I guess, would be the best thing. If they need a ride to go register, give them a ride to go register. If they need a reminder on what day they need to go vote, give them a reminder. If they need a ride over to their voting place, like drive them over, stand in line with them or whatever. Like, you got to follow your state rules. Apparently it's illegal in Georgia now to give people water if they're waiting in line, but as long as you're not a representative, I think you can give water to your friends, I think, right? Or whatever, right? I think that's legal. I don't know. Don't take my word on that, but always follow the rules and regulations that have been put in. But if you want to do something on the ground, if you really want to do something on the ground, everybody knows somebody in the United States that doesn't go vote, right? Help them accomplish what I would call a feasible task. Feasible. It's within.
If voting didn't matter, they wouldn't make it so hard to vote.
Right. Yeah. So Linda says, could you imagine if everyone voted, things would be so different? Yes, I can imagine it. And yes, it would be different. Things would be very different. So yeah, my big thing is community and the collective good and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's all like really important to me. Some people would say that, like, because I'm a lefty, the only thing I care about is technology and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. But I'm a dirty guy. I like digging in the dirt. I grow as many vegetables as I can. We do community effort stuff as much as we possibly can, as much time as we can put into that. People would be like, oh, he's a lefty, he doesn't like guns, he thinks guns should be illegal. It's like, no, I don't think that. I think that there should be proper training that is federally funded by tax dollars for people to get their certification and be gun ready and know how to use the tool properly. Just the same way that there's elementary school, middle school, and high school, I think that there should be, if we're going to continue on this road of the Second Amendment, I think we should expand it to the point where everybody has access to training and a weapon and ammo and all of that kind of stuff, because the Second Amendment specifically says there should be well-trained militias. It's what it says right there, well-trained militia. So start training people. Set it up. Get it going if it is that important, which I think it is very important for people to be knowledgeable about things that they're going to be surrounded by, just the same way as we're knowledgeable about how to drive a car, how to operate a vehicle. We're surrounded by cars. We're surrounded by guns, and I don't think we're ever going to get rid of them. So I think we should be expanding people's knowledge and know-how. And I think we should be expanding people's knowledge and know-how at every field, every single field. Just imagine that if you were somebody who's 60 years old, you've never picked up a piece of technology in your life, there should be a place for you start to go learn how to use a computer, how to use a smartphone, how to not accidentally give somebody your social security number because they called you and said that they were from the IRS and you're going to get arrested and put in jail. You know what I'm saying? That stuff should all be available too. It's the 21st century. Robots are doing half of our work for us. We should be benefiting from that. I don't know if I've expounded in a long time about our trip to Flint, Michigan, and Detroit and all that. We went there about 5 or 6 years ago, and luckily a good friend of ours, Matt, was able to take us around and show us a bunch of stuff, and it was really illuminating that even in the 21st century, like how a whole place can fall apart, how a whole city can fall apart. And how things can easily collapse even in the 21st century, even in America, and just watch it and just go around and be like, wow, just see the average person's despair just because a couple of corporations decided that, no, we're not going to do it anymore. We're done. It was really illuminating, realistically, as to what was really going on out there, and it made me really start to kind of rethink about where this whole country could end up, which is not necessarily something that I didn't think about before. It was definitely something I thought about. But it was sort of like it's in your face. You're gonna have to kind of engage with this a little bit. Was my feeling on it. It was basically how I was feeling in regards to just that it could happen. It was like impossible to avoid it because like wherever you drove, there was, empty houses or empty lots where places had been just bulldozed because there was no one to live there and stuff like that. And it was just wild to see. It was just really, honestly wild to see. Rebecca Lowry is asking, what is the Discord server, by the way? So if you are a YouTube member, it does take just a second to figure this out. So I'll put it on the show because you are a new member, and maybe we get 1,000 new members today. You never know. And they'll need to hear this themselves. If you go to my main YouTube page, you can click on the community tab. There's little tabs at the top. One of them says community. You can click on that and have little community posts. If you scroll down, you'll find the post with my face that looks like this. And a Discord server image. And there's a link right below it that if you are a YouTube member, it will validate you and send you over to the Discord. You may have to download the app, but it is a very simple and small download. And then you may have to make an account to just have your email attached to it and then verify that you are that person and not a robot. And the next thing you know, you'll be on our Discord server with all the little tabs and all the weird stuff going on over there. The more important the task of responsibility is, the more important with knowledgeable leaders. Imagine a nuclear facility CEO saying, well, I'm not sure, but I believe I know how to do this. Uh-oh, is the link expired? Hold on a second. Let's see. I'll edit the post here and I'll put a new link in. Paste. Boom. Wait, what did I do? Okay. There's a new link on there. I've updated the link. Yeah. Okay, there we go. Where did my window go? I need my window over here. Where did my chat window go? But it is a good point. It is a good point with the yeah, you wouldn't necessarily want somebody all right, let me change the invite link again because I'll specifically focus on making sure the Discord is legit. Edit. Maybe I posted an expired link. Well, no, it should be good. I don't know. I posted a new link in there, so I guess try that again. And we'll see what happens. Okay, there we go. Well, we'll see what happens. It may take a minute. Who knows? Oh, there we go. Figured it out. So, yeah, I mean, it's obvious that, like, we want experts to be in every position, right? Like, the best thing to do would to have somebody who's an expert in the specific thing that is going on at every point in time to be able to have an expert. The big issue is that if we talk about democratic governance, like, not every single person is going to be an expert in every single thing that comes up, right? So we have a vast number of things for the representatives that we elect to essentially engage with. They have to engage with all of these things that are going on in the area that they are sort of representing is going to be the best way to put it. They're not going to be an expert in every single one of those things. Now, when your expertise doesn't exist in that thing, you should either A, be able to access critical thinking on the information that has been given to you, which is make a basic critical thinking educated decision on something of like, well, should we put 20% of this money towards the potholes or should we put 20% of the money towards the sidewalk, right? You know, it's just a nonsensical example, right? And somebody who's an expert that comes in and says, well, sidewalks do this, sidewalks do that, blah, blah, blah. But the other expert comes in and would be like, potholes do this and potholes do that and blah, 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 blah. And be able to evaluate your best judgment on what best outcome you're looking forward to, right? You would want that, right? You would want somebody that can engage with critical thinking to be involved in that situation because you can't have everyone be an expert in every single thing. It's just impossible. You just can't. And so you just want people that are able to access critical thinking or a deferment to an expert when they realistically feel they can't make a decision. So I think all of those aspects are really important for somebody who's in a leadership role, regardless of if you're elected or a CEO or a whatever. You should have that critical thinking skill. Critical thinking skills are going to be the most important way that you're going to be able to engage with the information. As information comes into you, to be able to, okay, let me navigate like where this is coming from. It's sort of like if a pollution co has showed up and said that their pollution is awesome, you'd be like, well, I don't know if I can take this. I don't know if I can take this 100%. I don't know if I'm going to take this information from Pollution Incorporated, right? Straight to the heart. So why don't we get some other expert input so that we can make a decision on whether or not we want Pollution Incorporated to be in our city, right? And the unfortunate thing is that oftentimes a lot of that stuff that happens within humanity takes a really long time to figure out. Same kind of deal with your fish tank is like, somebody told me this fertilizer was awesome. I put it in the tank once and my plants didn't grow. Right? And you're like, well, did you follow like a dosing schedule for a good period of time? Oh no, I put it in there once and my plants didn't grow. Didn't do anything. You're like, it probably did something, but you probably were unable to notice it, right? Like it's impossible to notice having done the thing once, right? But from an expert level, you would generally have a baseline tank that you do nothing to with the same stuff in it right next to a tank where you're going to add this fertilizer to on the schedule and do the maintenance that you're supposed to do, then compare the two after a good period of time. Which is the same kind of stuff when it comes down to governance, is that like you actually need analysis and study and all of that stuff over a period of time to find out if the thing you did worked really well. Like education is a perfect example of that. They make these wild changes to education and then they wait 2 years and go like, well, our test scores aren't better. And it's like, yeah, but you need a lot more than 2 years, to evaluate whether or not this is working. Right, Zip?
Yes.
Yeah. You really gotta engage with those long timeline studies and stuff when it comes to like introducing new education and stuff for kids. I know people would probably want me to talk about critical race theory, which I think is totally pointless to even talk about. It's totally dumb. But the thing I would want to talk about is new math versus old math, right? What are they calling that? What's the name for it? It's like on the tip of my tongue. New math is called, what do they call it? Common Core, right? It's like the Common Core, and I've been seeing this for like a decade now, where, people that are in their late 30s and 40s and stuff are all bitching that they're doing math different at school. And you go, yeah, they've learned new techniques to teach math to kids so they have a better understanding of how numbers relate to one another. Yeah, but I don't know how to do it. Like, yeah, but you probably could learn it. Yeah, but the way that I did it was better. Like, you memorized a multiplication table, right? How many people do you know have like 6 times 7 memorized? 9 times 9. They just have it memorized, right? Because all we did was the 9 by 9 multiplication table.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But if you ask them 12 times 12, they're like, eyes start spinning around, right? They're like, I didn't memorize those ones, 13 times 13. Go. Zip failed.
Yeah,
Did you get it?
13 by 13.
You can?
I cannot.
Oh.
12 by 12 is 124, but that's because I used to be in a printing shops and count shirts by 12s.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point. But, so it's like when you talk about Common Core, you're talking to an adult who's super pissed. And then it's like you have to try and have a conversation with an 8-year-old, which the average person shouldn't be interfacing with somebody else's 8-year-old to find out if they've learned math. Have you learned math good over there? Like you can't be doing that, and you shouldn't be doing that. But studies have been done that like kids engage with numbers in a better way when they have learned how they relate with each other, right? Like how these numbers are interacting with each other. So that when you do encounter things like, what's the one where you like invert the percentages? It's, what's 8% of 25, right? Like, it's like, what's 8% of 25? But it turns out you can actually do what's 25% of 8. And then you just go, oh, it's 2, right? And then you're like, oh, man. And, I didn't realize that until I was like 35 or something. And I was reading, I don't know what I was reading, some dumb thing that was telling me about you could invert the percentages. And you're like, oh, crap. Like, oh, man, what did I do? What did I do forever? Alyssa is 40, and she's very close to 41. That's right. Alyssa's birthday is coming up this week. I don't know what day her birthday is, but she did post in the Discord her birthday present. And congratulations for all of the tools, man. What's up now? How's that, Zip? Are you jealous?
I am very jealous.
I was jealous. I mean, I already own all the tools, basically, but I'm still jealous because I have a strong... It's not quite a kink. I wouldn't call it a kink, but I have like a, oh, hey, look at that bandsaw. Woo, you know. I'll be like, I'll straight up find Vicky and be like, Vicky, how sexy do you think this bandsaw is? And she's like, it's a 0 for me, right? And I'm like, but look at it. It's so awesome. Look at all the wood we could cut. Look at all the pipe we could cut metal with this. We could cut rocks with this, you know. Ooh, Aubrey has a good point. That percent thing is a super pain in the butt with dyslexia. It's a good point. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know if I'm dyslexic. I might be. Who knows? But I could imagine from the way it's been described to me, it sounds incredibly difficult to try and deal with the navigating the typical day-to-day with the American school system, realistically. Education system.
I'm dyslexic, not super dyslexic. I can tell when I'm tired because that's when I start not coping and start switching things again.
Right. Well, sometimes I got to admit that I'm just an idiot, Like I'm not, I don't even know how smart Einstein was or whatever, but like I don't think I'm in that group, Like I'm just a relatively intelligent, like kind of. But I also work hard at like trying to be informed. Like, wherever I can kind of fit it in, I'm like trying to get information at all times and try to learn new things. Like, I'm always trying to find more efficient and sort of better ways to engage with things that I'm doing. I've always been open to learning new information. And I think that's the key to sort of just being able to interact with things in a healthy way, like I think on a regular basis. I might be wrong, but it's kind of the approach that I take with most things. Let's see. I think I could cut clean lines in the pavement edges in my backyard area with the tools I have now. That is good. That is good. I was thinking about it the other day. So our new house here, we don't have like an obscene amount of lawn, but I've got a lot of lawn. And, my thing is, like, if it doesn't grow food, it's not really like a good place for me to be putting resources. Like, that's just kind of how I see it. But there's unfortunately a reality that the utilitarian side of grass gets overlooked on a regular basis, especially by people that either don't have kids or don't care about their kids, I guess, maybe. Yeah, I guess you could include them in the same group. It's very useful to have a lawn if you have little kids because you can kick a ball around and run around and roll around and just generally be weirdos on a little bit of lawn. But I am going to be lobbying to get rid of some of this lawn because I want to put in more garden beds. And admittedly, Vicky already drew up a design of what she wants, and I feel like it feels insufficient to these hands. I feel like I could do more garden beds, if she'd just let me. But she doesn't let me run rampant. I hope you guys know that. Otherwise, I would be going buck wild. Quick update on the tree situation. We talked about this last week. Update on the tree situation. All right, tree cutting guys are super flaky. I don't understand what their problem is. I guess that's probably why they got into the tree cutting industry, but they're super flaky. I don't know. That's just what I'm saying. Loggers these days are super flakes. They're just not showing up. I got one verbal bid from one guy, and he didn't even email me the bid, which I was like, Here's my email address. Send me your bid. Thank you. And he's like, yeah, fine. That's great. Never, he didn't even send it in. The two other guys didn't even bother showing up. One guy said on the phone he was going to show up. The other guy sent me a text and said that he was going to show up, but neither of them did. And I find it extraordinarily doubtful that both of those guys deceased on their way to get here. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Is it probable? No.
What if they deceased each other?
That
How freaky would that be?
we would have to write a book about that, and it would probably be a follow-up to the Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. Did you ever see the Dirk Gently's, the new one with Elijah? What is his name? Elijah Wood.
I didn't. I need to go back and finish. I started it.
It was brilliant, and I'm so sad that it got canceled. Like, it's unbelievable to me that they're not going to do another season. I was like, I thought it was just so brilliantly weird, and it definitely pulled me in a way that I was hoping for but not expecting. Other entertainment news, I have caught up on The Boys, and that show is getting buck wild, man. I'm telling you, it's buck wild from the beginning. Like right out the gate, that show is wild. And it's just continuing. I don't know how they can continue this pace of twists and turns and like it's staying so wildly intense, but I guess the sky's the limit when you write the script, though, right? But it's just so. What's that?
They've got good source material, and I think directors and all they're learning how to really do a good job of pulling from source material and then make it fresh and its own thing.
Right. I mean, that's what it's got to be. It always comes down to the source material, doesn't it? I feel like if you have a good story and a lot of storylines and a very developed storyline, you can make a good show out of it. But Game of Thrones is a perfect example of that. As soon as you run out of the source material, it ain't gonna go well. It ain't gonna go well for you. You know what I mean? You're gonna end up, yeah, you're gonna end up with Starbucks cups in your final season finale. You know what I mean? The season finale of a show that has nothing. There's no Starbucks ever, but somebody's got an orange mocha frappuccino up on the table or just off. What was it? Just down by their feet. I can't believe that. I can't believe even the cinematographer didn't even notice. It's like, what? Where's the DP? Right? Is the DP even looking at the set? Did they just leave? I don't know.
And it's not like those guys don't have access to CGI. That like even the post. Okay, blot that out.
Well, it's weird that the post-production guys didn't get it, but I could at least understand the post-production guys not getting it because they, more often than not, when you're editing, you get like a real tunnel vision, right? When you're editing, you're just like going clip, color, doing all this crazy stuff. And it's so easy to get tunnel vision. I've done that before where I've like included stuff in the background of a shot or something because it's just like, oh, I'm just trying to get this to try and work correctly. Like that could make, I get that, but I don't understand how the DP or the cinematographer or even the director is just like, there's just cups all over the set and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I mean, it seems weird to me because I legit have only been to a couple of sets, but they're run, the ones that I'd been to, they were run like why would you have food and drink up on the set? You know what I mean? Like you run the risk of like losing the continuity of the shot if somebody like spills their drink all over because people are scrambling around trying to get things set right and you just kick over a mocha or something, Yeah, I don't know. Jake Vargo says, I'm slowly minimizing my grass with wildflower beds and raised beds. The way I see it, the more diverse my yard, the healthier it is for everything. Yes, I agree with that. Although I would also try to focus on localizing your plants, like trying to sort of make sure most of what you're putting in that's not food related is native to the area. Like, I think that would be beneficial for quite a bit if a lot more people were kind of doing that to try and get the invasives out. I think realistically, so that once we're dead and gone, at least the environment can recover quicker without having to deal with invasives, right? I was watching the John Oliver I wasn't watching, I was listening to it this morning while I was driving to go drop off some material, and the water plight. Water is going to be the big battle of the future. It's been slowly building for a really long time, and I kind of fear where it's going to go, because humans can't live without water. You just can't. I mean, you can live a long time without food, but if you ain't got water, you ain't going to make it. And so I really, it was really kind of stressing me out just how far and deep the droughts have gotten in large swaths of America, and I have to admit that really stresses me out, because it's not even that argument of climate change, whether it's real or not, which is always interesting to see people that are just like, yeah, the temperature goes up and down, and you're like, what, and you got to have that whole conversation. But we have like distinct historical records of like how much water we have and don't have, and use and don't use, right, and need and don't need. So that is a stressful one, because you can literally just look at those numbers and go, that's starting to fall short, and there will become a point in time where that's will be a matter of desperation that I don't know anybody in the States have seen inside the United States. I don't know. Kind of scary. Mickham says, old houses shall remain old. Perfection is not an option. Charm is lost if fixing everything. I have a friend, he's an expert in old houses. He gets angry when people start fixing everything. There's certainly validity to that statement. I get where you're coming from, but also you're in Sweden, Mickham, so like your old houses are like 600 years old or something. Our old houses are like 80 years old, and they were built, like not, they weren't built to last. They were built to work, and they were built to go up quickly, and they weren't built to last. That's one thing I definitely noticed about traveling around Europe quite a bit, is just the sort of distinct age to the architecture and building techniques and everything that you guys are, that Europeans are sort of used to being around, and it's not realistically what you see in the United States. Like Alyssa has technically an air quote old house, right? And I think her place was built in the 1920s or 1918 or maybe it was built a little bit before that. I'm recalling now, but turn of the 1900s is when her house was built, and it's an air quote old house, right? Yeah. So, because I remember, whose house was it where we were at? I went to a fish breeder's house I cannot remember the name of the town. Well, regardless, I was in Europe, went to a fish breeder's house. We went to check it out. It was great. It was great to check out the fish and all that. But I have to admit, I was really intrigued by the construction of the home, and realizing that, like, oh, we're in like a 400-year-old house. Like, they don't make these timbers anymore, Like, they just don't have that. They don't make houses out of rock anymore. Maybe they do in Europe, but they just don't have a tendency to do that here. What was that show? The BBC Old House show. What was that show called? I can't remember the name of it. Not Curbed. Man, I can't remember the name of it now. That's gonna bug me for a little bit. Let's see, BBC. What was that place called? What was that show called? I'm trying to remember what the name of this show was called. Do you remember, Zip?
I do not.
Dang, it's on the BBC. I don't know. I'll have to remember what it is. It's like it's in my brain, but it's not at the front right now. So, but I'll get there eventually. But there's a show on the BBC. It's so good, but it's essentially like people who have worked their whole lives are going to try and build the house that they've always wanted or whatever, right? And I can't remember the name of it. And a lot of them are way involved in the building process and stuff, and they sort of document all of the stuff that they're going through, trials and tribulations and all that. And it's a beautiful, beautiful show. I can't remember the name of it. Like, the people that edit it are great. Like, the people that film it are great. Like, it's just really good. And I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'm sure once the live stream is over, I'll remember it, and then no one will care. But most of it takes place in Europe. Some in like New Zealand. They did Australia one year. To me, it's international. To some people, it's like, yeah, that's down the road. But they did like Ireland one year and a bunch of stuff, and like the building techniques are totally different, and just a really interesting show. But it gives you kind of a look behind the curtain of European home building and the building techniques and just how different they are from here, from the States. Aubrey says, I cringe when I see a rock house get painted. There could be a reason behind that. Sometimes rock houses need to be painted because you need to seal up the actual work. Grand Designs, Aqua Blue Bear, winner, chicken dinner. It is Grand Designs. Thank you very much. Great work, my friend. Grand Designs. Definitely check out that show if you get some chance. I only had like three or four seasons of it or something, and then I was trying to stream them, and yeah. You know how it is. It's hard to get the shows you want to watch, but yeah. Lake Mead vids and similar ones have seen make me scared. Yeah, like seeing how empty Lake Mead is it's pretty wild. Just how big the drought is. Jake's been working hard on sourcing mostly native plants. My favorite is the pawpaw tree. They are native to eastern U.S. Plus they have some tasty fruits. Yeah, we dig that. George RB3 says, "Hey, what's up? What's up, guy? How you doing? Go watch Grand Designs. That's like I love that show. It's fantastic." Yep, the basic quality of buildings here is good. Many friends of mine are in the construction business. Yeah. It's very different. I mean, I have to say, like, going around Europe, I'm not necessarily an architecture nerd. I'm more like a nerd of like the execution and completion of an overall building project. Really sort of interests me to the point where I just like, man, they're using these different materials and different techniques, and I'm like, how can I learn and bring that into my craft? I'm excited to bring the new stand builds videos to you guys, but they're not completed yet. And I also want to make sure that I have drawings and stuff like that for you guys to put up of like, oh, if you guys want to try to build those stands. So it's kind of becoming a monster of a project, but it's fine. Like, we'll be okay. We'll survive, right? And also, I've only kind of built the, what do you call it? Not the templates, but sort of I guess practice runs. Yeah, I've sort of done the practice runs and gotten the follies out of the way, the mistakes, if it were, the I did this wrong ones. I've gotten most of that out of my system for the new stand builds, and I think there'll be some. I think realistically there'll be some ambitious people that will probably try it out, but it's probably not going to be for everybody. But I'm hoping that the videos are solid enough that the interest is for everybody. That's I don't know. I feel like a jerk sometimes when I come on here because I'm like, I'm working on these projects and they just are coming at a snail's pace for anybody who's on the outside looking in. But like I said earlier in the show, if we get 5,000 members, I'll be able to dedicate more time to YouTube. It's like the worst sales pitch in the world, and the thing is, like, I know there's a lot of people on the internet that are out there to get rich. I would not characterize myself as one of those people. I'm just trying to work on all of these projects, and just being one person means that they are. It's slower than molasses in winter sometimes. That's for sure. I haven't even got the trees down, and I talked about it last week, and I'll probably talk about it next week, and I'll probably talk about it the week after. And then, 5 weeks from now, I'll be bitching about having a bunch of wood in my yard, and then people will be like, where are those stand build videos? And I'll be like, I'm trying to cut the wood now to make a thing. Oh, damn it. So we'll see how it goes, though. Almost all European schools plus universities focus on building functional and green. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. People were building stuff 50, 60, 70 years ago. Like, they didn't care. It was just build it, get it done. They were not worried about the environment. What's the... Let me find the image. Here it is. This is the image I like to show people. I have to save it first. Save image as. Actually, this one's kind of blurry. Let me get this one. This one's got some contrast to it. Save image as. That's fine. We can call it that. Boom. Now we go over here. Then I got to click this button. Then I got to click this button. Then I got to click this button. Then I hit open, and then the image comes. And it's not full screen. But let's go like this. I'll make this image fullish. That's as big as it. It's a 1-to-1 ratio, guys. And my screen is bigger. My screen is bigger than 1-to-1. So is yours. Unless you're on a cell phone, and then, maybe you got a weird cell phone. Sorry. This is the image that I like to show people when we talk about whether or not historically they cared about the environment. And the reality is, not so much. This is all bison, right? This is where the bison went. Like, where did all the bison go? The bison were shot and killed. That's where they all went. This is a pile of bison skeletons that guy up there. Do we need the... Do we need the arrow, guys? Backed by popular demand. The arrow. So, as you can see down here, this is a full-size man. And admittedly, back then, dudes were only like 5'4", but still. Right? But still, a man. And then there's a man up here. Right? This is all a gigantic pile of bison skulls, right? Which eventually they started collecting these because I think that they figured out that it was a form of... they started collecting these because I think it was a form of... what do you call it? Fertilizer? I think they either thought it was fertilizer or like a building material. But, the people back then, they just did not care about the environment because it wasn't a concern to them. They just assumed that it would just replenish itself regardless of what they did. So, yeah. Ever use the Control Windows key S? I don't know. Maybe I will after the show. I'm not sure what that does. Hold on, let's look it up. Control Windows key S. What does that function do? Oh, for the shortcut? Okay, that's what it is. I don't do the Control Windows shortcut. No, I don't. But maybe I should learn to program those. Right now, I'm currently trying to program audio drops that don't blow up the live stream to the point where people's earphones will explode. You know, that's kind of my goal right now. The wave files are relaying in a weird way, and then they blow up the speakers, and so I'm trying to figure out how to, I guess, make my levels all cohesive. You know, it's stupid. No one cares, but that's what I'm doing right now. Oh my God, guys, it is 4 o'clock. That means we're 2 hours in. So big shout out to no super chats for today, but a big shout out to Rebecca Lowry for becoming a brand new member to the YouTube channel the fam channel. Big shout out to Zip Gun for calling in. You got anything to say on the way out, Zip?
Nope, not today.
Not today. He's got no final words. Love you, Zip Gun. Thank you, everybody, for coming out to the live stream and contributing and hitting the like button and becoming a subscriber and then becoming a member after the live stream is over. I expect 1 billion members before the next live stream, which I was hoping. I'm still trying to do the Friday stream if I can make the schedule work. So I'm still trying to do Fridays. If I can get into work early enough, get work done early enough, and not encounter a giant traffic jam like I did last week, because apparently a grain trailer, like a semi with a grain thing, happened, and it caused a big traffico. Is traffico a bad word? I don't know. Traffic jam. There was a gigantic traffic jam, which was like, you know, it was like a thing. It was like a thing that happened, and nobody was happy about it. Everybody was honking and beeping and driving slow and being fussy. They were being fussy-ussy. And so, yeah, with that, I bid you adieu.